we always come back. Here. The magnifying glass through which we observe the human condition, where happiness is an illusion. Here, where the past, present, and future all coexist on the same timeline. A reminder that the future is not some distant glimmer, but a bright light shining in your eyes.
Charlie Brooker in London, the creative mind behind the mirror.
Black Mirror is an anthology.
It is finally time for me to talk about Black Mirrors.
Black Mirrors.
Black Mirror.
Black Mirror.
Black Mirror.
Black Mirror. Black Mirror.
Hello everybody, I'm Nasser.
And I'm Kassem.
And today we're going to talk about the Nosedive episode that's part of the Black Mirror show. But before we get deep into our podcast, let me give you guys a quick overview about the episode. Basically, it's about a woman named Lucy who lives in a society which is heavily influenced by social media and ratings. And she has a high rating in society, and because of that she's invited to her friend's wedding. But unfortunately, while she was on the way, she faced a few miscommunications and miscounters with some people, and that led to her ranking dropping. So this episode basically shows how social media affects our society and changes our persona. What do you think, Kassem?
Yeah, Nasser, it's a brilliant critique of our current social media culture. Let's link this to the theory of mass media and its evolution. Historically, mass media has been about broadcasting to large audience. But now, with digital media, it become more interactive and more personal.
You know what? I agree with you, but before that, I want to dive into media framing. This episode frames social interactions as transactions where people modify their behavior for better ratings.
Checking my feed for danger signs.
It's a powerful commentary on how media can shape our perceptions and interactions. For example, let's dive into the episode 2 minutes and 20 seconds up to 2 minutes and 37 seconds. Lacey's obsession with her rating shows how social media frames our value based on ratings.
It's absolutely, Nasser. The episode also reflects the concept of mass media effect and media priming. The primes viewers to be more aware of their social media usage and its impact on their lives. For example, the media priming, and it's around 5 minutes 30 seconds. Lacey's overly courteous interaction with the barista demonstrates how media influence of our behavior for the higher rating.
You know what, Kassem? I think this ties into the uses and gratification theory. People use media for various needs like validation and nosedive, but instead of gratification, we see dissatisfaction and loss of true self. Like, for example, when we hit the 10-minute mark, we see the uses and gratification theory in action. Lacey's rehearsal for Naomi's wedding speech is a clear quest for social approval.
That's true, Nasser. Delving deeper into nosedive to consider the mass media audience theory, the episode doesn't just entertain, it actively engaged its audience, compelling us to reflect on our own behaviors. And also it is a stark reminder of the evolving relationship between media, producer and consumer in the age of Web 2.0 and Web 3.0. Okay, and now I'll give you an example. In this episode, around 16 minutes and 5 seconds, the mass media audience theory plays out. Lacey's reaction to a rating drop reflects the varied impact of media on individual.
Exactly, Kassem, but I want to target something you mentioned. The shift from traditional to new media, from Web 1.0 to Web 3.0, has transformed how we interact with media. It's no longer just consumption, it's active participation. And I want to give you an example, but my example is throughout the whole show, throughout the whole episode itself. You see people using social media to give others ratings. You see people using social media to learn about other people's life and what do they do and etc. and etc.
That's also correct, Nasser. That brings us to media literacy and digital literacy. In Nosedive, we see characters who are literate in this digital world, but at what cost? Their real, authentic selves are lost in the pursuit of ratings. Okay, so Nasser, now I'll give you an example about it. Digital literacy is highlighted around 8 minutes 5 seconds, which Lacey's brother criticizing her rating obsession. It underscores the importance of understanding digital media impact.
Absolutely, Kassem, I agree with you. And this engagement isn't passive, it's an active dialogue, a characteristic of new media literacy. We're not just absorbing content, we're interpreting, questioning, and even altering our perspectives. This is the essence of digital literacy in the modern era, a skill that nosedive both critiques and necessitates.
So, well put, Nasser. It's this interactive nature of modern media that makes episodes like Nosedive so impactful. They are not just stories, they are catalyzed for conversation, reflection, and potentially change in our digital behavior.
Speaking of change, let's not consider the mass media effect theories like media framing and priming in Nosedive. The episode frames social media as a double-edged sword, priming us to scrutinize on our own social media use. It's a profound demonstration of how media not only reflects but also influences societal norms and individual behaviors.
Okay, so just now to wrap up, Nosedive isn't just a story. It's a mirror reflecting our society obsession with digital validation. It's a call to balance our online and real life personas and to foster genuine human connection.
Well said, Kassem. That's all for today's episode of NK's Critique. We hope the discussion sparked your thoughts on the role of media in shaping our identities. And thank you so much, Kassem. We hope to see you in the near future.
Yeah, it was a pleasure. Thank you.
Anytime.